Alrighty, so Azir, Ashe, Callista. Going back in. Same old bands. No Rumble first pick here. Don't first pick Kai'Sa. We don't need to do that. That's not a thing.
The contrast for FlyQuest's roster is you have a lot of experience on the top side of the map, but young, fresh, one rookie, and then a sophomore in Busio coming in. To
Insanity? Hey, Insanity, what's up? You can tell me how wrong I am about analyzing your game. If you have any thoughts that you would like me to clarify, then let me know. I'm really glad you're back in LCS, man. You were very underrated.
Some are looking to scale. I really like that there's now multiple ways to path through and value these objectives depending on your
what. So since I didn't listen to any of the preamble on this, why is Wild Turtle playing? And isn't supposed to be B-Boy or whatever? Not to listen to the flame. Well, I know you play Zac in this game, so I'm actually curious about that because I don't know anything about mid-Zac matchups. He got there late. Bummer. Shit happens.
We're going to see what the pairing is going to be as Shopify Rebellion already lock in a Lucian for themselves.
We're going to get some more Lucian.
Taking the Senna first is a kind of strange.
Senna here is you can maybe wait for a counter pick to try and parry support. So like Senna Tom is super good against other melees, but if you have a double range against you, you might want to go Senna Seraphine or something like that that can be a little more abusive in the late game.
Senna Seraphine. Oh, the CEO of NA is back. She's back, the unbeatable champion in LCS. I fucking love it.
Late to this patch compared to the other regions that started a week ago, but those other regions weren't quick at picking up the double support items. We're very quick at picking up the double support item. And I don't know if that's because...
Yeah, double support item shenanigans on the Senna seems pretty good. First pick worthy? I don't know. You know, I guess I also don't know anything about Masu because he's new. So maybe he's just like a really good Senna player and I don't know it. Because when you think about Senna, you think more about like FBI, right, in NA.
I believe Freak said that they're going to limit one support item purchase per team. Oh, interesting. So I think they're going to hard block it that way. Let's get back into this one, though.
Empire's here as well. Holy shit. Everybody, we got everybody in here. Crepo, Insanity, Empire. This is the happening place for VOD reviews on a Saturday night in North America.
We already saw, iterations of this, but with Sarah Seraphine, they're also...
We can get Empire's opinion on some of this shit, too. Ori falls pretty far down the draft. Jungle, so gonna take it. What? Why are we taking out Trundle?
Most likely Insanity then, because it's not going to be really possible for Fake Out to lock in a champion unless he really cooks up something.
Really haven't seen Trundle be picked or banned on this patch, even though he can be very annoying in the top lane at the moment. I mean, maybe they're gonna plan on pick some like hyper tank in the top lane. But professional teams should be able to handle just like stupid Trundle split push. Inspired likes Trundle, yeah. It probably has something more to do with Shopify Rebellion's pick. Okay, Hecarim makes sense versus Inspired. That's a very inspired farm champ.
He's been on the Udyr train. He was actually playing a version of Udyr that I don't expect him to play in pro play, but he was playing the Titanic Trinity Force top lane Udyr with... Yeah. Leandri is definitely for the Phoenix form, but we'll save the season was really
so Zac
really good.
I know Zac has played mid in this game, but obviously looking as though it could be a potential flex pick. Poppy falls all the way through the draft.
The Zac as well. If you have
Aatrox. I mean, it's a really low-range composition. This is a very, very low-range composition for Shopify Rebellion. Like, this is just all in, buddy. As far as team fights, huge front line, huge follow-up engage, huge engage period, and then Wild Turtle trying desperately not to die. The problem is that there's a lot of targets, for Poppy to ult out. And there is quite a bit of peel here from Ori Seraphine ults, for example. Like, Poppy W2 has crazy value against Zach and Jin engages in particular. Feels like this is going to be hard for Shopify to play. And especially if the Lucian dies, it may be a bit tricky to actually accomplish anything. But trying to play into this, trying to engage into this versus Seraphine ult and Poppy W and Poppy ult is going to be quite the challenge, I would anticipate.
They have enough damage.
It definitely has a lot of value in the W.
Yeah,
like
for
I
sure.
said,
For
Whippo,
sure.
Whippo has definitely been cooking up a lot of Udyr builds.
Right.
So
And if you can eliminate, one or two champions from the front line with Poppy ult, feels really bad. Seraphine ult just has such huge value too.
We've seen primarily these full tanks.
Yeah, banning Trundle instead of Poppy feels really weird here. It feels really weird with the composition that you're trying to run. I know nothing about the Zach Oriana matchup. It doesn't sound great to me.
I'm so excited. We're getting Zach mid.
But maybe Insanity, if he's still here, has some insights into that, because I know nothing about that matchup. We're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Really hard to get an MVP. So, Inspired, weirdly enough, like right now, I think it's really hard when I see him on Poppy, and a player might actually end up being Masu. Or massive
Masu wins voting me to
Like, it makes sense from a compositional perspective with what they're doing with kind of this big time engage AoE CC composition. Like, the Zach fits into that theme.
as we head on to the rift for game 3 of our opening weekend.
They buff, it won't spoil it, they buffed his sustain. Can't really push him out of lane. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I look forward to seeing how it works.
With the hollow radiance available, it's just like there's so much.
The cap special.
For tank builds.
I appreciate that you take risks, Insanity.
he's going to build so much MR early.
This is much more interesting than it could have been.
I mean, if like it could either be a Bomby Cinder rush into the Kanik Rookern if he needs the wave player, or he could just straight up rush the item.
It's funny too with the bottom lane.
MR does have pretty big advantage as well in this game.
Who is the carry down there? Now it doesn't.
Like, MR is going to be very, very strong
Seraphine and Lucian on first
for Shopify.
support items as well, and we'll end up
Until Senna kind of gets into the late game, they may actually have quite a few issues against Shopify if there's a lot of MR itemization.
early on. That is one of the things, Poppy especially taking the Hex Flash and having a lot of these early aggressive angles, even with a lot of the changes to the map. Being able to flash over
What if your tanks build AD items? Are you spoiling this for me? Is this like Titanic Udyr? Oh my god, this is such classic Whippo. What a piece of shit this guy is.
Awakened Cryo Phoenix fans taking so much HP out of building.
All right, so let's talk about this. We've seen Udyr with R at level 1 be so strong in terms of lane bullying. So Bwipo's probably relatively confident that even if he kind of misses the start of the wave, that he's still going to be able to provide some shove and make it back up at this point in the game. And they see 2 down here, okay, on the level 1. And this is just classic Bwipo bullshit, man. Bwipo loves just using his brain to get a couple of these little edges. And so they kind of know that Boogie's up here. First off, because they see him. But also just because of the push down into the bottom side here.
Even with a lot of the changes to the map, being able to flash over a lot of these walls come from angles that a lot of the other junglers don't want to invest into. Definitely an advantage, and Whipple's going to be more than annoying.
Actually, so annoying. I mean, they tried to put this ward here, assuming that this was potentially a possibility, I would assume. Oh, boy.
And he's forced to start on the other side of the map.
That's a really nice play there by Bwipo. They had an early ward kill towards their own Raptors. He predicted the start very successfully.
Okay, so he lost 2 minions worth of XP and gold, 3 minions of gold, 2 minions of XP.
Top lane. And we have a pause, Rafa.
Yeah, Rafa, why'd you do that, huh?
It's on me, guys, I promise.
Come on.
Was it Mark? Mark pause?
Where anybody got eyes on Mark Zimmerman? He's
Where is
sneaking
he?
around here? Yeah.
They don't even have a cool Kit Kat sponsorship for the pauses.
Right in the beginning of the
Good, another hour-long VOD, because of course it is.
needs to have a great year. And the
Okay.
mini-map was
Oh my god.
Then
Just
they-
keeps going. Okay.
Whatever. Blame and then they're that reminds me. Never
we
mind.
can't both be missing these CS, bro.
25 minutes later.
Well,
We'll see.
I did just get word
We're
that,
getting ours in chat.
that both teams have agreed to play through the match. They were both given an option whether to remake the game or play through. And anytime it's a small lag spike, they just have to.
If we lag, we lag.
we lag, we
Whatever. Let's play.
The show must go on. Appreciate these players.
Wow, they didn't
I love that. Let's
credit
play
to
through.
the sportsmanship
Play
for
through.
Shopify for not remaking after that insane garbage start that they had. That's good sportsmanship.
Playoff games last weekend. Like you just play through. It's part of the sport, right?
Sure.
It was like -30 in Kansas City. Is a little bit of lag.
Yes, but Jat, God created the weather problems. Riot Games creates the lag problems. Okay, so why doesn't Riot Games just get good at not creating lag?
Fair.
All right. Well, the story that we had started, if we remember all the way back to the beginning of the pause, we were talking about Boogie got invaded by Whippo, chunked out, flash blown. And so Inspired
God's not creating lag in this game, guys.
instantly, as soon as he saw the invade was successful.
So
to
your
go
comparison
into
is
the
garbage.
entire blue quadrant
Yeah.
of the Shopify Rebellion jungle. And so now Boogie is level 2, got his Raptors and
Yikes,
Doves,
dude.
That's it. Then based to come back for his
He's got a pink ward, guys. Boogie's got a pink ward. He's ready.
One control ward.
That's not good. Also, just so you know, his flash is actually down. I'm not sure why it's displaying as
Yep,
being up.
his flash is down.
He did have to-
What I've noticed, guys, is that a lot of, I mean, obviously on the replays, all of the cooldowns are still completely fucked, but
It is, and there's some small things, even though I know it.
actually, okay, we're 3.5 minutes in. Did they actually show runes at any point, guys? Holy moly. What, 27:13. I just want to look and see if we got the runes at any point in time. There it is. Okay. Looks normal. Basically, Aftershock for tankiness, and he's taking buffs on champion kills. A secondary.
Oh, yeah, and they were trying to make the map more symmetrical between red and blue. I feel like, and maybe it's something to do with camera angle or something, but you come out a little bit deeper behind the red side when you're coming from that tri-brush. Plus, there being the easier access to Gromp and the side brush up here.
Why do most teams have the support play center instead of the ADC? I think it just depends on the team. I don't feel like most supports play center. It just depends on the composition and the team. Usually when there's a support champion, the support plays the support and the AD plays the center.
Plus, it's like a little bit deeper on your tower.
Yeah, and then I was just thinking in the context of this game, that makes the jungle start almost even more dominant for Inspired. Like he's able to take.
I mean, it can be flex too. I mean, T1 is a team, for example, that will flex the Senna between Keria and Gumayushi as necessary.
It just makes the life so easy for Senna Seraphine. But Insanity doing a lot of damage. Jensen should be okay though.
He might have to flash one more auto attack. The Q.
He doesn't. He has a passive.
So he gets at least a second life.
He doesn't have mana.
I don't think you can.
Jensen doesn't have mana.
Oh, and Inspired Q.
Oh, dude.
For Inspired.
That's so tragic. Oh, man. I think Insanity had the right idea there
I think you can get it.
to proc the passive instead of wasting the flash. But the fact that Poppy was able... Like, Poppy Q is very good at dealing with the Zac blobs, right? Because as they cluster in the center, you get the first and second procs of Q potentially.
Honestly, Whiplo deserves the credit for the counter jungle.
Yeah, and Jensen
But I think it was pretty calculated because Jensen didn't have mana. I don't think he would have been able to clean that up.
MVP race, right?
yeah.
Full counter jungle. Honestly, Whiplo deserves the credit for the counter jungle.
Yeah,
though.
and Jensen deserves the credit for the kill.
Yeah.
Flashing into a stationary target and pressing Q MVP.
We're jungle bias up here. Okay.
Listen, we haven't seen his fire for a whole
Obviously.
split. I'm excited to see this guy back on stage.
I thought he wouldn't have the range to make it. Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable, right?
I see that. I see that jungle CS lead. I see that kill. Whoa. Sheesh.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. You wouldn't think that he would get there.
Cinder, super. Right?
Did he?
Yeah,
Life.
I don't think you can get it.
Fired Q.
Oh, and he's
I mean, he E's a minion. That's unfortunate minion wave placement too.
he might have to flash one more auto attack. The Q. That's his passive pop, so
this
he gets
is
at least a
close.
second life.
I was wondering if he proc the phase rush, but he didn't. He just E's a minion flash Q.
So the MVP race, right? He counts
yeah.
Full counter jungle. Honestly, Whiplo deserves the credit for the counter jungle.
Yeah,
though.
and Jensen deserves the credit for the kill.
Yeah.
Flashing into a stationary target and pressing Q MVP.
We're jungle bias up here. Okay.
Listen, we haven't seen his fire for a whole
Obviously.
split. I'm excited to see this guy back on stage.
All you gotta do is look at the scoreboard. I see that. I see that jungle CS lead. I see that kill. Whoa. Sheesh.
He's killing it.
Honestly, though, allowing him to rush into the Bambi Cinder super
Yeah,
early
here we go. Let the proxying begin.
Speed up that clear speed, and they have so much scaling.
This is just so annoying because unfortunately that level 1
support item.
and the counter jungling by Inspired makes it so they kind of know exactly where,
Credit for the counter jungle.
Yeah,
though.
and Jensen deserves the credit for the kill.
Yeah.
you know, Xin Zhao is going to be, because they have all the timers,
Pressing Q MVP.
We're jungle bias up here.
right? So they know what his pathing is going to be down on the bot side of the map.
Honestly, though.
And so this just, I mean, they don't see him. He doesn't see them at Krugs. These are gone. So it's just free, right?
Lead, I see that kill. Whoa. Sheesh.
He's killing it.
Honestly, though, allowing him to rush into the Bambi Cinder super early on here for the Poppy 2. Speed up that clear speed, and they have so much scaling available to them. We're not very surprised here to see the quad support item achieved by both of the bottom lanes. But yeah, definitely is going to be a very difficult game here for Shopify Rebellion, considering the...
It's so crazy how long both Bwipo and Inspired were out of the professional scene,
Almost 300 days.
just sitting on the bench
They haven't missed a beat. It was the early invade by Whippo. He's up on the newest tech.
since the disastrous iteration of Team Liquid that he was on.
Farm, Inspired as well. Immediate grubbies, right? They're doing everything as if they are super fresh.
Yeah.
All right. First good thing for Shopify, though.
Drake.
We are going to be able to get the dragon down here in exchange for those void grubs. Moving up with the Lucian Nami. You were talking about Whippo, and I want to mention the build here, rushing into healing cutting with the Bramble Vest. It is actually effective against so many of these champions. All of these champions, in fact, on Shopify Rebellion, not just his lane opponent. But Xin, of course, has so much healing. Zach, obviously. And the bottom lane even too, so we'll have a lot of value out of that
Yeah,
beforehand.
this is one of the healiest games from both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both teams need heal cut very much. Maybe even a little shield cut for Shopify Rebellion, but I don't necessarily love the shield cut items.
Not gonna be the most
Oh,
ideal.
Inspired
Nice
is just-
steal from Inspired. Guys,
Inspired
he was an
just,
MVP
I mean, this
and
is
he
such a
honestly-
disaster. This is why we need best of threes, guys. Like, everything that Shopify probably wanted to do in this game is now completely fucked because of the level 1. The League of Legends just can't be played in best of ones because of things like this. It's just so annoying. Like, now, I'm not learning anything about Shopify Rebellion from having watched this game because Inspired is just, you know, Bwipo and Inspired are just shitting all over him. And these kind of games are just such weird game states, and they feel super doomed.
Jensen could be close. A little bit more damage.
Oh, nice.
And it's Sam.
Oh.
A strong start to the game off that invade.
Well, saving the flash was worth.
Jensen could be close. A little bit more damage. Auto attack flash.
Oh, man. Oh, he got the blob, too. 220 healing. It looked like he was almost able to survive that.
Play by Insanity, especially after getting first blooded by Inspired and Jensen. It's unfortunate that he died himself there because he really could have taken himself back in the game, but it still goes to show the power here. He hasn't even built his first MR item, so he's going to become hugely favored in this matchup if he's able to do that. Because
You can live there, Insanity.
The biggest
Let's see what
factor are
the sequence of play
team
was.
comps, and if you can push up and actually play for tower plates and get value out of it. And guess what? Since FlyQuest has such a strong start to the game.
Yeah, you backed off because you thought your last R would kill. So there you go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Because you could have flashed out, right? You had to flash back in to secure the kill with an auto. Otherwise, you flash out. That's a bummer. Unlucky. Man, you guys were just at the end of the bottom of the barrel in terms of luck.
It's unfortunate that he died himself there because he really could have taken himself back in the game, but it still goes to show the power here. He hasn't even built his first MR item, so he's going to become hugely favored in this matchup if he's able to do that in a 1v1 at level 6.
Zach mid, baby, count it. Another one for Insanity. If you look back at the champion pool for Insanity, even last
could have taken game, but it still goes to show the power here. He hasn't even built.
So they have Herald timer, but they don't have.
Hugely favored in this matchup if he's able to do that in a 1v1 at level 6.
Zach mid, baby, count it. Another
Wait a second. They have a Herald timer, but they don't have second Void Grub spawn?
Champion pool, and here he goes. He hit
That's
the
weird.
kill, so he got the nice pull back onto the minions.
Bah.
Really didn't take much there. Jensen had used his ult previously in a trade, so he just knew kind of the kill pressure. Jensen was being a little tricky with that wave, trying to just extend his CS advantage. Still does have a CS advantage and a lead in this lane, but he does have to respect that damage from Zach for sure.
And he went with the.
So what's the build, Insanity? Hollow Radiance into what? Spirit Visage second, third?
The more brawlier, longer fights, but him getting those extras. Here's the graphic, though, about last split with his champion pool where he tried to experiment a lot, and I think that will continue this year. Obviously.
Insanity Summer 2023 champions. You love to see it, man. 11 different champs. That says a lot because you don't play very many games in LCS.
Already.
That's great.
With a bit of counter jungling right now as well. Masu's gonna see it, but I don't think he's gonna be.
Insanity overpowered in Fearless Draft.
So this will be a red buff conceded, but Inspired was busy taking the red buff on the other side of the map anyway. So
Visage third armor item. Ah, okay. Visage third armor item, Jack Show fourth. You ever get there, maybe?
On his rotation back, he's just going to flank onto Busio. Busio has flash available as well as Encore, so Busio's got to be careful about how far he goes into this play. Already taken a bit of damage, but no ultimates burned from either Masu or Busio.
Yeah, it's really just trying to harass a little bit, but Busio, Masu should be able to heal up unless.
Wild Turtle dashing in, culling is unleashed. Encore answers back, perfect cleanse, and a nice bubble from Zeyzal could be the kill.
Man, Turtle still got it, man.
This play already taken a bit of damage, but no ultimates burned from either Masu or Busio.
Yeah, it's really just trying to harass a little bit, but Busio, Masu should
I don't know why we're going in on this, by the way.
be able to heal up unless.
Wild Turtle dashing in, culling is unleashed. Encore answers back, perfect cleanse.
Nice cleanse.
From Zeyzal could be the kill. There it is for Wild Turtle.
I guess I don't know what FlyQuest bot lane was expecting right there. You know he still has cleanse up and flash, and you know the Xin Zhao's still there, and you know your Poppy's topside. And also Jin still has ult, so
But Busio, Masu should be able to heal up unless.
Wild Turtle dashing in, culling is unleashed. Encore answers back, perfect cleanse, and a nice bubble from Zeyzal could be the kill. There it is for Wild Turtle.
Busio down. This could be big for Shopify if they can get some extra money off for pushing.
yeah, that's a very fucking weird play.
The River to grab Scuttle Crab and Shopify find some kills.
Yeah, I mean, I really got to credit Wild Turtle for getting.
If they can get
Just back, perfect cleanse.
Yeah, it's really just trying to harass a little bit, but Busio, Masu should be able to heal up unless.
Because right here, I mean, he just full channel cullings, right? The root doesn't stop the culling, so he basically just full channel cullings for free. Busio then just gets hit by bubble and dies. Masu doesn't feel like flashing it, apparently.
Busio down. This could be big for
Or, I mean, Busio doesn't feel like flashing it.
some extra money off for pushing in here. They're gonna get the reset. Boogie right up the river to
Busio
grab
expected the cleanse to be popped on the Seraphine E. Yeah, but if he's using the culling, he doesn't. I mean, it's well played by Turtle. He doesn't have to cleanse because he continues to output damage during the root.
Right, Boogie's come in. Nothing should really happen, but then Masu and Busio overstep.
Also, I mean, we can talk about this, guys, but he could also flash the Seraphine ult. You know what I mean? So it's just not good timing.
Look at Blippo here doing a lot as well. After pushing up top lane, Udyr has been such a menace in the top lane, but he continues his counter jungling ways.
When you think about how it's crazy how good Wild Turtle still is after all these years. I mean, no player in the LCS has been playing as long as he has now. Because, I mean, I understand he's not supposed to be in this game, but he factually is playing this game, and he's the player who's played the most games in the LCS who's left, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, FlyQuest doesn't do damage yet. Jensen has a lost chapter and a bunch of mana items, and Whippo just moves really fast. Whereas Zach's kit just seems to be incredibly loaded with damage. At the moment, he was completely untouchable in that fight, and they win that 3v3 easily.
Excited to see where they go from this one, but it is going to be the rest of the grubs started up by Inspired.
I think in spite of all the bullshit that has happened in the early part of this game, Shopify Rebellion's doing pretty well, guys. There's just such a shit start to this game.
With the design of the grubs, it looks like he'll be able to finish them out this time around. The rest of the team backing him up here, though, is that you can definitely always look for drive.
Turtle gets so much hate for being bad. Turtle's been very consistent, in my opinion, throughout his time in the LCS. I mean, like any player over that long of a time, he'll have ups and downs, but on the whole, like, he's been really consistent. And he's still good. Like, imagine having this guy as a streamer and substitute on your roster. I mean, it's like having a great backup quarterback, man. Like, he's just so reliable. And he's not washed, you know? I mean, he's probably good enough to be a starter on a lot of these teams.
I feel like Shopify needs to continue to try and engage big-time fights with this Lucian Nami and Zach engage.
Encore, Dawning Shadow lands, inspired for the flash, is able to punish Wild Turtle this time around. As the rest of
Interesting.
FlyQuest are able to answer back.
So this is a very different style of Udyr build, picking up the Thornmail, well, at least the start of the Thornmail, just to mitigate some of Aatrox's sustain, combined with Phage and a Dark Seal. So I guess he doesn't plan on dying. Swifties, I think, just to dodge Aatrox abilities, making sure he doesn't get hit by chains. Poppy's build also quite interesting. Not rushing into Sunfire, but getting some damage early on with the Tunneler. Bloodsong already completed onto Masu. And we're going to see that, so the same double support item build here for Shopify. Poppy's going Titanic. Yeah, that's what it looks like. If you have Tunneler and another Ruby Crystal, probably going Titanic. Just holding off on the Tiamat. Yeah, this is really interesting. I mean, his speed with the Swifties and the Phage. Okay, I can't see what's going on.
Here's Jensen top.
Gonna make the dive happen with Whippo. Shockwave should be available for this play. Flash from FakeCon is able to dodge on the Shockwave, but can't dodge away from
Whippo's just so fast with this build.
As the rest of Shopify Rebellion, we're trying to collapse. Wild Turtle looking for Matsu on the back line, finds the kill. He's gonna take him out.
Turtle's gonna have to do a lot of work, and he is doing it right now. I love this graphic though. Looking at the mid-diff and the success rates that they had when they were.
There's a Tiamat, is going to be Titanic Hydra. Super strong item right now, but I guess they really just feel like they needed more AD damage because of the MR itemization options. I think this is a good adaptation. Empire, are you still here? Did you tell them to do this after you saw the draft, or have you guys just been playing like this in general? Because it feels like an adaptation you would make after seeing their draft. Mid diff at 14 rather than 15. Yeah, that's because it's when the plates fall off. You know what I mean?
risk resistant HP. I do want to point out Inspire.
The real question is, why do plates fall at 14 minutes instead of 15 minutes? You're asking the wrong question.
You can't just have pure tank front line. You want to have some damage splashed in there, and I love that Bombi Cinder.
Boostia said they came up with the Poppy build during Champ Select / pause. Okay.
So that this Poppy is
That's an interesting little tidbit. Empire says they were talking about between draft and going on stage if they needed more damage spread. I think this is a good adaptation. Empire, what's it like to have players with brains? Do they even need you? What's your job?
The splash damage is so good since Shopify are going to be pretty grouped up. They're very short range comp. And the cone damage from Titanic
Empire exposed.
As well. So yeah, Empire going to be dishing out a whole bunch as well. Whipple going to be dishing out a whole bunch.
Why does LeBron need a coach? I mean, maybe he doesn't. Peyton Manning didn't need a coach. He certainly didn't need an offensive coordinator. I can tell you that from his time on the Broncos. He made Adam Gase look like a god because Peyton Manning just audibled every play at the line of scrimmage. Empire is truly the Adam Gase of League of Legends. That's cruel. That's a very cruel thing to say, actually.
We've already seen him get some kills with some nice aggressive plays and a bit of burst damage, but now it really goes through the roof because they've got the Imperial Mandate plus the Dreammaker spike damage combination.
Did Brady need Belichick? Yes, he did, because Brady can't win on teams that have bad defenses because he's not the GOAT like Peyton Manning.
But I'd say if they can't get this Drake, even though Cloud Soul's not the most important thing, that's a really bad sign because we know that there's so much scaling on the FlyQuest side. Shopify Rebellion want to make plays right now, but they are down in gold. So it's a little bit difficult for them to actually force a good fight. FlyQuest has the first setup. The Zac top lane, the Aatrox is pushed in. FlyQuest is first on the mid wave, even though...
God damn, I keep looking at this. Guys, I keep looking at this, and I keep thinking it's an 8. I thought it said 38.6k. I was like, what? They're 11,000 gold ahead at 17 minutes with an even kill score? But no, the answer is 3k. I am getting trolled by the font, though. How did this pass quality control? Like, I feel like this is really easy shit to catch.
Retreating to the red side jungle. Shopify Rebellion do not want to overextend. Jensen is waiting, applying pressure on the top side of the map, has teleport available. There's some wards. It doesn't give him necessarily a huge flank angle.
Even though Lushinami is supposed to have the mid control, FlyQuest is here early.
All right, let's take a little bit of a look here.
Needs to fight.
Got this setup. All right, FlyQuest is going to give up all of the dragon control for free to apply tier 2 pressure, even though they have TP. I don't know about this one, guys. This seems... I'm also surprised Insanity went back. Who cares about tier 2 turret, dude? Just get soul point. You're not that far behind.
It's huge for Shopify. They're going to be able to get their third dragon, soul point, and Insanity isn't done yet.
He's still got the passive, I believe, so he can make this dive happen. Inspired is trying to buy as much time for Busio to live, but Shopify Rebellion got all that they needed.
That is exactly
Dude, if they get Cloud Soul with fucking Aatrox, Xin Zhao, and Zac, it is going to be so bad for FlyQuest. Wow. All right, let's take a look at this. So they get the free muscle in on the objective just because they want to push more aggressively in the top side, and the Orianna is showing. So FlyQuest, like, Shopify feels very confident in pushing out for Vision. I'm surprised Insanity actually went back to try and match this, because I think you don't really care. I think you just all in on the Drake, just in case this TP comes in. Because you can always TP back top later after the Drake is done. You know what I mean? Our backline and Poppy have to stick together these standoffs. Papa Smithy says Empire's leaking. Yeah. That makes sense because you need you absolutely need the peel from the Poppy, right? Because Poppy's job in this composition, remember, this is all about anti-engage. So you probably want to have ball somewhat close to them as well, just in case you need it to speed them up or to ult people off, would be my guess. And Poppy definitely needs to be here so she can stand with W to prevent any kind of engage, as well as punt somebody off with R. Right? Because these guys are, I mean, especially the Seraphine is incredibly squishy. But Inspired thinks he's got the play. So he gets rid of Fake God, but that disrespects this second engage. Not a good trade. Oh my God, not a good trade. By the way, I'm loving watching Busio just use this ult every time, and Wild Turtle just insta cleanses it every single time. Just a small amount of trolling by FlyQuest. So let's talk about why this happened. You know, this is some amount of indecision by FlyQuest about whether or not they're going to push tier 2. And I mean, the information is just fully there, right? Because they see, as we're flipping back and forth 10 seconds, we see the Orianna pushing up on the wave, so they absolutely know where the Orianna is the entire time, which causes them to lose vision at pit. They then see the Orianna again here. So instead, this actually triggers, you know, he TPs within sight of the Zac, which allows the Zac to know just to come back down here. I would argue Insanity probably didn't need to go up there at all, because the trade you're going to make, I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? You lose tier 2 turret and take Dragon. Remember that you have incredible engage, and one of their primary peeling champions in the Orianna isn't there anyway, so you have a 5v4 advantage. So you could probably take Drake, and then, you know, if the Orianna is just going to stick around there, you still have tier 1s here, so you could split into either top or bot lane immediately after. So I think you don't even really motion up towards the Ori. And by the way, you still have, you know, you have 2 TPs and you have a minion wave and the turret, so you could emergency TP up there if you ever needed to. But there's also Rift Herald up at the time being, so there were a lot of objectives that I think you could very favorably trade up if you just all in on the Drake. Meanwhile, you know, everything about that TPing within vision, you know, kind of allowed Shopify Rebellion to get a faster read onto the play to get Zac back in. They didn't do anything by pushing up to tier 2, and they gave away all of the information about when the rotation was coming through with the teleport. So all in all, this is a pretty botched play from FlyQuest. Thank you, Nomer. I appreciate it.
It's huge for Shopify. They're going to be able to get their 3rd dragon, soul point, and Insanity isn't done yet.
He's still got the passive, I believe, so he can make this dive happen. Inspired is trying to buy as much time for Busio to live, but Shopify Rebellion got all that they needed.
That is exactly what Shopify needed to have happen here. You could see.
Please stream more. I've been streaming a lot. Please watch more. I will keep streaming too. I mean, this is just prep for my show, guys. So, you know, the mentality is that I'm going to be watching these games anyway, so I might as well just kind of stream the good ones. And I started a new YouTube channel, which you can use the VODs command for, which is just going to contain the unedited VODs. So if you happen to want to watch those, it'll be cut up by game. And I'll do some edits on my main channel. But it's basically just, you know, supplemental streaming and stuff like that. because, like I said, I have to watch the games anyway, and talking through them and honestly, like, getting people's insight, you know, like Insanity or Empire is just very helpful. Gives me good insight into things that I don't know about, like Zach Mid versus Oriana, for example. So thanks to them. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that FlyQuest wins the game at this point in time, especially because Cloud Soul, if they ever get it for Shopify, is going to be crazy good. Do I take notes? It depends. If I'm watching it by myself, then more often I will. But when I am... One of the great things about me doing these VOD reviews with you guys is, first off, it forces me to articulate my thoughts, and that helps me remember it a lot better. You know, it's the same reason why you can always remember, if you're a caster, casting games. It's easier to remember casting games, you know, games that you've casted rather than ones you just watched. Because if you're not trying to put your thoughts into words or explain the game, then you're not going to remember it as well. Just straight up. Yeah, you authored them rather than watched them, Papa Smithy says. I think that's definitely true. So, you know, I think watching the good games, and, you know, you guys also in Twitch chat provide a lot of information too, because I can basically just ask you guys questions if you happen to know them about game interactions, and sometimes you do, or, you know, you can look it up while I'm doing this, and then I can say it, and then everybody gains more knowledge in the end. So I find these streams to be quite rewarding. Oh, come on, dude. To be able to block these engages from Shopify Rebellion, but if you don't have your front line in the get me out, man. Okay. Okay.
Let me add timestamps to the chat here.
No, we're back in. We're back in. No worries.
Yeah. We're even getting good at pauses. Yeah. Much quicker turnaround time now.
Good job, Mark.
Thanks,
He's
Commissioner.
really speeding these up.
Yeah. But also shout out to the players is just working through all the little lag spikes that may or may not be happening in this game.
Oh, true. Yeah, we got those built-in excuses.
Trinity Force into Frozen Heart.
We were hitting with the lag.
Whippo's kind of grab bag build here.
Well, this is a bit tricky now because Shopify Rebellion are on Soul Point. FlyQuest did not do a great job of playing to their composition's strengths and actually playing together.
I mean, these are some rookie mistakes, though.
I mean,
like FlyQuest, I think, has a very high ceiling. It just depends on how well some of these younger players. I know Busio isn't technically a rookie anymore, but some of the younger players do. You know, you really do see the veterancy and like macro sense of the top side though, with Inspired and Whippo this game really shining, I think. Whippo also has a weird skilling build. All right, let's take a look at it. No, they're not clicking on him. Whatever. We'll look next time they click on him. If only I had a replay or something I could just look at. I don't know, guys. Maybe in another 15 years of League of Legends being out, we'll have the technology.
They're at like the edge of a cliff in a sense. Like if they're able to get one more fight, get Soul and Baron, then yeah, they can absolutely win. I think if they fail to do that, it becomes much more difficult.
Currently for Shopify Rebellion, taking up vision control on this top side on the map. Baron is still available, but the Dragon will be spawning the next minute and a half, so I imagine on this next wave they're going to be shifting their...
Well, the real dream is that they just rebuild League of Legends with a not shit engine, right? I don't see them doing that, but, you know, the lead producer on League of Legends said to expect big things in 2025, so a man can dream. Because if that happens, we might be able to get replays. Do the teams get replays? Yes, they do. Insanity trolled me. I asked him if he was getting Spirit Visage second item, and he said third after an armor item. Is he counting the fucking ninja tabbies as an armor item?
Shopify Rebellion should be able to reset and get ready for this Soul Point.
I just noticed that Whippo's quad stancing. He's got like...
Why would they put resources into a new engine? Because they may have a business belief that League of Legends will reach a new generation of players with a newer engine and better code. And if they continue to see strong, you know, clearly, like, let's just ask the question. lots of people would play the game if there was an announcement that there was a new engine. Maybe people who hadn't played it before, right? I don't know what happened with, like, say, Dota when they added a new engine, like if there was a wave of new players.
Could be very much game breaking. The soul with all the extra move speed here.
I'm sure they've done that research. Nice W on the engage. Boogie's still on the back line, though.
Once again, the backline of Jensen is split away from Inspired. He's able to reconnect with them and now provide some more needed assistance. And Sandy
Good kiting. You know, this it's hard to tell because these ult icons are terrible, but also Insanity not having ult here is pretty unfortunate. They have to save him so he can get ult. Amazing.
The rest of the backline of FlyQuest just cannot get in. Whippo's still alive, but I don't know if he can really reconnect with the rest of his teammates.
Look out, Insanity. They're coming for you.
Insanity flashing on the wall.
Turtle, holy smokes.
Man, he's crazy, but that's the classic Wild Turtle. Whippo soloing down Fakon, forced to flash the crowd. And Shopify Rebellion thought they had the fight.
This was a much closer game than I thought it was going to be based on the start. Oh, dude, that Cloud Soul is so huge for Shopify.
All of this healing with that backline, even though Inspired does drop first, they're able to chase them down. They pick up the extra kill there onto Fakon, and they get the big reward. They actually stop Shopify Rebellion from the dragon stacking. They buy themselves another 5 minutes. And when you're looking at 5 minutes with this composition, that looks real nice.
Let's show some plebs tweets. That's what I want to see. I definitely don't want to see what everybody is buying after that giant team fight. I want to see some dingus saying "Hole mole."
Because a lot of that is grouping up at objectives and then waiting for the other team to try and engage on you and then winning the fight. So it's a multi-step process and they can't be making mistakes throughout. That fight worked because they were set up as a 5v5 and didn't give the Zach being engaged. And Whippo's a fast boy.
But can he escape the Infernal Chains? Not this time around. That last Darkened Blade should connect. And that's Whippo going down in the bottom side of the map.
I may have to, if they're not going to show me a replay of this, we have to just see what happens.
They're pushing out mid lane here first to get mid prio. Boogie is actually stopping up, finishing the Gromp before transitioning over. So there will be a decent amount of time. And it looks like the rotation will occur. Look at this, blue buff is already fully warded up by Shopify. They're hoping for a pick here. Zach looking for the angles. He's charging up.
Fired has X flash as well. Insanity doesn't find Busio. Gets clipped. The shockwave into the encore. It's a lot of damage.
Ah, he gets Poppy eat into the turret.
And they shut down Insanity. Boogie tries to come in, but it's encore. It's a lot of damage.
No, man.
He's charging up.
Fired has X flash as well.
No, you got out. You got out. Like, Whippo's still dead. Clear out Baron Vision. Take their red buff. Oh, the positioning is just so brutal. Because he's next to the dead turret, so Poppy can E him into it. And then Poppy can stop him from escaping with W. Gets the knock-up onto Turtle and Insanity by using ult.
FlyQuest was ready for that one. That was an immediate firing of every ability. As soon as Insanity came in, there was no hesitation.
No, man. Let him play in the U. You had it. Ah, you had it. You had Baron control. No.
The rest of the team had already retreated down lane, and that's going to mean FlyQuest will at the very least start this Baron up unless there is some crazy magic from Wild Turtle here over the back of the pit.
We played slow after we got ahead. The game was over. Yeah, I know, man. Ah.
Multiple towers with this Baron Siege too, because
See, the thing is, like, I know that they lost the soul and are probably tilted, but they do punish Bwipo for the overextension. And, like, you know, it's only 24 minutes in this game. You can actually just wait. You know, you can actually just wait for the next soul and, like, you know, take control. I'm gonna rewatch this fight just to see what happened, because we never got a replay of it. It just hurts, dude, because, like, the Zac ult isn't up yet. And even if you're not going to get into the backline, even just having the sustain off of the ult and the ability to clog this choke point would probably be pretty huge. Bergie goes in, forces Jensen flash. Inspired actually misses the stun on his E, which gets Zayzal the chance to flash out. Oh, the timing is so heartbreaking. What's Fake God doing? Fake God gets Poppy ulted, probably. Yeah. I mean, you know Poppy W was down that entire time, too, because of the long cooldown. So I like the fact they tried to re-engage. Man, if he had Zac ult on that re-engage, I wonder what would have happened. By the way, just leave. Just leave. Just walk away. Oh, they do? Okay, good. Oh, man, they just checked it with the Senna route. Oh, I didn't see this. Fake God actually just goes ahead and TP's back in. That's how he gets into the fight. No. That TP's weird. This fight's very strange. For that point, if I don't take E, if you don't go re-engage, yeah, you just take Drake there. I think that's right. I think you're right, Insanity. I think that's the point. Because if you don't re-engage, then you don't get chunked out. Yeah, right there. Because Zayzal doesn't die because he doesn't get stunned. So if you actually just double back here onto the Drake, wait for your ult to come up. The other thing, too, is that, honestly, if you actually just back off here because you know you have vision control, you can actually just recall, get up to full HP, get your ult back, and then TP back in, potentially, if you disengage. Because using TP here is, I get that it gets you the angle to get the kill, but also it means that Fake God can't leave and then re-TP. Bummer. Oh! I mean, that's a bummer. But I think you can just play this out slowly. Because I think if you guys get Cloud Drake, it's so strong with your composition that it's just a free win at that point in time, almost. Like, I think in this position, you know, you can bait Baron very effectively while split pushing with Aatrox, because eventually you're going to get something, right? If you look at the way this is playing out, like, you have the 26 seconds on Bwipo to actually do something. They still have some level of vision around Baron that can be cleared out. And this guy's going to push up. That means Orianna has to go here to match. And then at the very least, I think you can actually probably bait out a TP for Baron. And then that will allow you to set up the side waves better so that you have a more uncontested Cloud Soul attempt. Too eager.
Looking for the angles. He's charging up.
Fired has X flash as well. Insanity doesn't find Busio. Gets clipped. The shockwave into the
There's an opportunity here, I think, to get some good incremental advantages. Instead, they get Baron. Ah! Have I checked the EU Korea games already? No, I have. What do you mean by checked? I haven't watched them yet. No, we will be watching them. Doing these NA ones first.
Then FlyQuest should be able to get the Baron, should be able to take multiple towers with this Baron siege too, because this squad is so good at just bullying down a lane, sieging up on a turret.
This game has been fun to watch, though. This has been an entertaining game.
Very skittish, and Inspired and Whippo not always being connected with their backline made Shopify's Rebellion job so much easier, but the one moment where Shopify Rebellion get a little too over-eager to pull the trigger, and FlyQuest are there to punish.
Yeah, I know it's going to be so frustrating for Shopify to look back at, because they had bottom lane push. They still had Fake God down there. He was pushing out the bottom lane minion waves. They had the advantage with the extra kill, 30 seconds, death timer still left on Whippo. If they just play it a little bit slower there, then you can mount the pressure, have two lanes pushing in. They already had fully warded up blue quadrant and the controller on Baron, but now
Shopify will win a lot of games in LCS. Nightmare to play in best of one. True. They don't even have their full starters.
They got a 6 grub with the Baron, so it's even more power.
Yeah. We didn't get a chance to see it as much in the early stages of the game.
Fake God also performing much better than I thought. Like, this guy was fucking terrible the last time he was in LCS. He's not had a bad game.
They're spawning in, and they're doing pretty nice damage to these structures.
And they're just staying grouped, right?
Do I know anything about B-Void? No, I know nothing.
If they do spread out, if they're not in range to use the Poppy W as Zach flies in, that's when things can get a little bit ugly. But for now, they're very confident just sticking around as 5. And we'll see if that's the correct call, because Insanity could jump on, all of them at once. And we'd have to see how that fight goes out. But FlyQuest, confident here, daring SR to come in.
Yeah, Insanity most likely the one that has to lead. But you have to imagine that Inspired will not use
Here we go.
until Insanity is flying in.
No.
You have to hope that maybe for Shopify Rebellion, someone else can eat that steadfast presence cooldown so that Insanity can get an uninterrupted elastic slingshot engage.
I think they learned their lesson from that previous Dragon fight.
Yeah.
Where the backline just cut Zach right in the face, and they're like, well, we're not going to let that happen again. So they slowly but surely move in with the Baron buff. They get full value out of that Baron buff all the way up through Inhibitor down mid lane. So it should allow for the reset here to get back out. 17 seconds already towards this next Dragon, and they've sent Whippo with his teleports to push out on that top side. So FlyQuest, again, it's a situation where you want to play a little bit slow. Time is to your advantage. Or they could just go for the chase down here.
Strong right now.
Running down mid. Tidal Wave and culling already used by Shopify, but Boogie has taken half of his HP already in damage.
Yeah,
is about to expire on FlyQuest. Maybe they
oh man.
a lot of ultimates already used. The
Oh no.
in damage. Baron buff is about to
That gets played very well, by the way.
expire.
E-stun dodges the bubble, Inspired, into R knockup.
They found Insanity.
And Inspired still has
A lot of ultimates already used. The path
Inspired still has Poppy W up as well, in case he tries to get out.
cannot get to the fight and cannot help out his comrade.
Inspired's pretty good, guys.
Now you draw it up.
Makes you wonder how this guy wasn't on a team for a year.
And we're just going to walk at people. There's not going to be much they can do against us. They're not even going for the Drake. They're just walking towards
Acceptable CC layering. It's chaining. It's CC chain. This is my tilter, guys. If you layer CC, it's on top, or for a split pop-up, it's on top of each other. On top, on top, on top. You don't want to layer crowd control. That means you have overlapping crowd control. That is not optimal. You want to chain it. Chain the CC. Saying layering CC is bad and should not be done.
Person that can really make an engage. He dashes in, pops the Crescent Guard, but it's not really doing anything because at this point, Busio and Masu can just heal everyone up to full. The first Nexus turret falls, the second one evaporates just as quickly.
I guess it feels like a year because we haven't seen him play since like April of last year. So it's all, for all intents and purposes, it is almost a year. 9 months.
New year, new FlyQuest. They pick a very scaly composition. Jensen gets his Oriana once again, and they are taking their time with this one.
You know, that was, they were trying
Papa says they were very fortunate both Bwipo and Inspired rejected a lot of EU offers because they wanted to stay in NA.
the stats as much as possible while we have the chance. But all smiles around. There's definitely a few
Well, Bwipo and Inspired definitely
play out the
caused a lot of the
but Inspired and Bwipo
leads to happen in that game. Shopify played really well, though, despite having such a crazy deficit at the start of that game.
Love it, love it.
Fun game to watch.
Exciting one. There, you can see
Not the cleanest, maybe.
for the Zach mid. Sometimes where
The younger players in the bot lane definitely a little bit over-aggressive at times,
Hollow Radiance Rush definitely
but pretty solid. I like the adaptation of like changing up the Poppy build to have, and the Udyr builds actually, just to have a little bit more attack damage so that MR wasn't like the sole point of itemization, because that could have been very good for Shopify as well.
I don't think Shopify should be that down in the dumps about this loss.
Yeah, this is like, you just hate to see best of ones for this reason, guys. Just one weird game, and you're like, that was fun to watch. I wish it hadn't been so weird. But even if it was a stomp, right, you just don't feel satisfied because you're like, well, I guess the level 1 just really fucked them.
we still